The rain hammered the penthouse windows like fists of fury, mirroring the storm raging in my chest as Jordan's voice sliced through the dim light of his office. "Alex, it's over. Pack your things and go now." His words weren't just a dismissal. They were a guillotine, severing the fragile world we'd built in stolen moments. His ex's shadow looming larger than the skyline beyond. I stood there, drenched from the dash up from the lobby, my shirt clinging like a second skin, heart pounding as if it might shatter the glass between us and the glittering abyss of Manhattan. 5 months of whispered promises, of his fingers tracing my scars under silk sheets. And now this, betrayal served cold on a silver platter of corporate indifference. He wouldn't even look at me. His broad shoulders turned to the storm. The man who'd once pulled me from the edge, now shoving me over it without a backward glance. The elevator ride down felt eternal, each floor a descent into oblivion. The city lights smearing into accusatory eyes watching my unraveling. I was 23, fresh out of a nowhere college in Ohio, chasing dreams in the beast that is New York. And Jordan Hale had been my everything, mentor, lover, the spark that ignited my hidden fire. We'd met 6 months earlier at a tech conference in Brooklyn, where I was just another wide-eyed intern hawking half-baked apps to venture capitalists. He was the CEO of Hale Dynamics, a titan in AI logistics, 32 and untouchable, with a reputation for devouring startups like appetizers. That night, after my pitch flopped harder than a drunk at last call, he found me nursing a whiskey in the hotel bar, shoulders slumped under the weight of rejection. "Kid," he'd said, sliding onto the stool beside me, his voice like aged bourbon, smooth, commanding, with an undercurrent of something vulnerable. "You poured your soul into that mess. Most people fake it. You, raw as hell." His blue eyes locked on mine, piercing through the fog of my self-doubt. And just like that, the air thickened. We talked until the bartender flipped the lights. About code that dreamed bigger than algorithms. About the loneliness of building empires from scratch. By dawn, we were tangled in his suite, his hands mapping my body like uncharted code, gentle yet insistent, drawing out confessions I'd buried deep, the small-town whispers back home, the fear of who I really was in a world that still flinched at men like us. Jordan didn't flinch. He kissed the bruises of my past away, murmuring against my skin, "You're not broken, Alex. You're the glitch that rewires everything." From there, it was a whirlwind. He pulled strings, got me an internship at Hale Dynamics, where I thrived under his wing, late nights debugging servers. His office door locked as we stole breaths between lines of code. He was all sharp suits and sharper wit, the kind of man who commanded boardrooms with a glance. But with me, he softened, his laugh a rare thunder that rumbled through my bones. We'd sneak away to hidden speakeasies in the village, fingers laced under tables, sharing dreams of a future where love didn't hide in shadows. But shadows have a way of creeping back. It started with a late-night call 3 weeks ago. His ex, Liam, the golden boy from his Yale days, fresh off a messy divorce from some Silicon Valley heiress. Liam, with his chiseled perfection and trust fund ease. The one who'd shattered Jordan 5 years prior by choosing status over soul. I'd seen the photos in old articles, them at galas, arms linked like royalty. When Liam showed up unannounced at the office holiday party, all charm and cologne, Jordan's face lit up in a way mine never had, a flicker of the past that burned brighter than our present. I tried to ignore it at first. The way Jordan's texts grew sparse. His touches hesitant. "It's nothing, babe," he'd say, pulling me close in the dim glow of his loft. But his eyes darted to his phone like a man haunted. Then came the arguments, whispered at first, then explosive. "He's just a friend checking in," Jordan insisted one night. His tie loosened, scotch on his breath. But I knew better. I caught the late-night emails, the catch-up drinks that stretched into dawn. The breaking point hit like a server crash no one saw coming. I'd walked into his office that rainy Tuesday, arms full of prototypes for our latest project, a logistics AI that could predict supply chain heart attacks before they flatlined. Liam was there, perched on the edge of Jordan's desk, laughing at some inside joke from their glory days, his hand lingering too long on Jordan's knee. The air crackled with unspoken history, and when Jordan finally noticed me, his expression hardened into something unrecognizable, guilt armored as resolve. "Alex," he'd said, standing abruptly, chair scraping like nails on chalkboard. "We need to talk." Liam slipped out with a sympathetic nod, but not before murmuring, "Call me later, G." And then it poured out, how Liam had changed, grown, how they were giving it another shot, because some things are meant to be. Me, I was the detour, the youthful fling that reminded him of who he used to be before the empire swallowed him whole. "You can't be serious," I choked out, prototypes tumbling to the floor in a clatter of forgotten ambition. "After everything, the nights we plan a life. Jordan, the way you said I was your future." He rubbed his temples, avoiding my gaze. "It was intense, Alex. Too intense. Too fast. Liam, he gets the world I live in. You deserve someone who doesn't drag you through mine." The words landed like punches, each one cracking the foundation we'd laid. I begged, not with tears, that came later, but with the raw truth of a kid who'd finally found home in another's arms. "I love you," I whispered, voice breaking. "Isn't that enough?" For a split second, regret flickered in his eyes, his hand reaching out as if to pull me back. But then he withdrew, jaw set. "Leave, Alex. Before this gets uglier." Security escorted me out, my badge deactivated mid-stride, the lobby a blur of indifferent faces. Outside, the rain soaked me to the bone, washing away the last traces of his cologne on my skin. I wandered the streets of Midtown, numb, until a dingy all-night diner became my confessional. There, over cooling coffee, I vowed I'd rise from this, not as his shadow, but as the force that eclipsed him. The months that followed were a gauntlet of survival, each day a grind against the ghosts of what was. I crashed on a friend's leaky couch in Queens, scraping by on freelance gigs, coding for shady startups that paid in promises and pizza. Nights blurred into code-fueled marathons, fueled by spite and black coffee. My laptop screen, the only light in the dark. Jordan's face haunted my dreams, his betrayal a fuel that burned hotter than regret. I poured all into an app of my own, Nexus Flow, a revolutionary AI for small businesses, predicting market shifts with eerie accuracy. It started as a middle finger to Hail Dynamics, a way to prove I wasn't the disposable intern he'd branded me. Beta testers trickled in, mom-and-pop shops in Brooklyn, weary owners drowning in data. Word spread like wildfire on Reddit threads and LinkedIn whispers. This kid's onto something big. By spring, Venture capital knocked. A grizzled shark from Sandhill Road saw my demo and grinned like he'd struck gold. You've got the hunger, son. Let's make you untouchable. Funding flowed, $2 million to start, and with it, a tiny office in Soho, a team of misfits who believed in second chances because I'd hired them from the same gutters. But success tasted bittersweet, laced with the ache of what I'd lost. I'd catch glimpses of Jordan in tech rags, Hail Dynamics expanding, him arm in arm with Liam at conferences, their smiles polished for the cameras. Each photo twisted the knife, a reminder of the love I'd given freely, only to have it discarded like obsolete code. I dated sporadically, a barista with kind eyes, a graphic designer with tattoos like mine, but no one filled the void. No one sparked that electric pull. 2 years in, Nexus Flow exploded. We went viral when a major retailer adopted our system, slashing costs by 30% overnight. Forbes dubbed me the prodigy coder, a 25-year-old wunderkind reshaping logistics from the ground up. Offers poured in, acquisitions, partnerships, board seats. I turned down Hale's feeler email with a single-word reply, no, yet the past festered. On my birthday, alone in a Tribeca loft I'd bought with my first big payout, I cracked open a bottle of the scotch Jordan loved. The burn down my throat mirrored the one in my chest, tears finally spilling as I scrolled old texts. You're my glitch, Alex. The one that fixes me. Lies. All of it. But in that vulnerability, clarity struck. I wasn't broken. I was rebuilt. Stronger. Ready to face the storm. Little did I know, fate had a cruel sense of humor, scripting our collision on the eve of my company's IPO. The boardroom at Apex Ventures hummed with anticipation, the air thick with the scent of fresh coffee and high-stakes ambition. 5 years to the day since that rainy dismissal, I stood at the head of the table. 28 now, my reflection in the polished oak showing a man forged in fire, leaner, sharper, with a quiet confidence that turned heads. My team flanked me, diverse hackers and dreamers I'd handpicked from the fringes, buzzing over final pitch decks for the merger that would catapult Nexus Flow into the stratosphere. Alex, the numbers are ironclad, Mia said, her tablet glowing with projections. This deal with Vanguard Logistics, it's a game changer. They'll integrate our AI across their fleet, global domination. Baby, I nodded, forcing a smile. But my mind wandered to the gala tonight, black tie affair at the Met, where the ink would dry on this empire I'd clawed from nothing. Invites had gone to every shark in the tank, including the one who'd once held my heart in his iron grip. As the meeting wrapped, my assistant buzzed in, Mr. Hale is here. From Hail Dynamics. Says it's urgent, personal. The name hit like a rogue wave, crashing through my composure. Jordan. After all this time, slithering back into my orbit. I straightened my tie, crisp white shirt, slim charcoal suit tailored to perfection. A far cry from the intern rags, and waved her off. Send him in. He entered like he owned the place, which he once had in my world, tall, commanding, the silver in his temples lending a distinguished edge to his rugged handsomeness. Those blue eyes scanned the room, landing on me with a jolt that echoed our first meeting, surprise, hunger, a flicker of something deeper, unguarded. Alex, he said, voice low, laced with that bourbon timbre I drowned in. You look incredible. Congrats on the merger. I had to see it for myself. I leaned against the desk, arms crossed, channeling the armor I'd built. Jordan, to what do I owe the pleasure? Scouting talent? Or with just nostalgia? He chuckled, but it rang hollow. Stepping closer, the faint scent of his cologne, sandalwood and storm, stirring ghosts. A bit of both. Hail Dynamics is hurting. Market shifts. Bad bets. We need Nexus Flow's tech to stay afloat. I want to propose a partnership. The irony burned sweet. A vindication I'd fantasized about in darker hours. Him, hat in hand, begging for the scraps of my genius. Partnership, I echoed, circling him slowly, like a predator sizing up prey. Last time we partnered, you showed me the door. Remember? Rainy night, X on the horizon, his face paled, jaw tightening. I was an idiot. Alex. Liam. It was a mistake. A desperate grab at the past, because I was terrified of how real you made me feel. Too young. Too alive. I sabotaged us. Words I'd longed to hear. But now they landed like echoes in an empty vault. Too late. Too tainted. Yet beneath the anger, a traitorous spark ignited. The old pull drawing me in despite the scars. Terrified? You broke me. Jordan. Left me to rebuild from ash. And now you waltz in. Expecting mercy, he reached out, fingers brushing my arm. Electric as ever. Not mercy. A chance. To make it right. Dinner tonight? After the gala. Let me explain. I pulled away, heart hammering. The room suddenly too small for the weight of our history. Fine. But on my terms. Don't mistake this for forgiveness. As he left, promise lingering in his wake. I sank into my chair, the merger papers blurring. 5 years of armor, and one glance cracked it wide. The gala loomed, a battlefield of silk and secrets, where empires clashed and hearts reignited in the shadows. The Met's great hall shimmered under crystal chandeliers, a sea of tuxedos and gowns swirling like confetti in a victory parade. I navigated the crowd with practiced ease, champagne flute in hand, schmoozing VCs and flashing smiles that hid the turmoil Jordan's visit had unleashed. Mia stuck close, her elbow nudging mine. That Hale guy, total power move. You holding up, barely, I admitted, spotting him across the room, deep in conversation with a cluster of suits. His laugh booming, but his eyes scanning for me like a beacon. Liam was there too, sleek in emerald velvet, arm looped possessively through Jordan's, a living reminder of the choice that gutted me. Our eyes met over the rim of his glass, a silent challenge amid the jazz quartet's sultry croon. He excused himself, weaving through admirers, Liam's gaze sharpening into daggers as he approached. Alex, Jordan murmured, close enough for his breath to ghost my ear. You clean up even better than I remembered. Flattery won't seal deals, I quipped, but my pulse betrayed me, quickening at his proximity. We fell into orbit, orbiting small talk laced with undercurrents, tech trends masking the real transaction, unresolved longing. Liam sauntered over then, all false warmth. Darling, introduce me. His handshake was limp, eyes appraising me like competition. Jordan's told me so much about his protege. The words slithered out, venomous, and I met it with steel. Ex-protege. Water under the bridge, or rain. In our case, Jordan tensed, But Liam pressed, steering the conversation to Hale's woes, subtly positioning himself as the savior. As the night wore on, the merger signing unfolded on a makeshift stage, flashbulbs popping like fireworks. I inked the deal with a flourish, the crowd erupting, but victory soured when Liam cornered me by the bar. He's mine again. You know, whatever game you're playing, it ends here. I laughed. Low and dangerous. Game? This is my life. Liam. And Jordan? He's just a chapter one outgrew. But doubt crept in as Jordan pulled me aside into a shadowed alcove, the party's hum fading to a distant roar. Alex. About dinner. Before he could finish, Liam appeared, face flushed with wine and fury. What the hell? G? Flirting with the help again. The words exploded, drawing stares. Jordan's mask cracking under the assault. It's not. Jordan started, but Liam whirled on me. You think you can waltz back in? He chose me. Twice. The alcove crackled, years of pain colliding in a storm of accusations. Jordan stepped between us. Voice thunder. Enough. Liam. This us. It's been dead since you came back. I was wrong to try. Liam's eyes widened. Betrayal raw. You're throwing it away? For him. Jordan turned to me. Vulnerability stripping him bare. Not throwing. Reclaiming. Alex, if you'll let me. The choice hung, heavy as the chandeliers above. My heart a battlefield. Liam stormed off, the crowd parting like the Red Sea, leaving us exposed. Why now? I demanded, voice cracking. After everything, because losing you is the real mistake, he whispered, handcuff on my face, thumb tracing my jaw. I see it now, the man you become. Stronger than I ever was. Let me prove I'm worth your time. Trembling, I leaned in, our lips brushing in a ghost of a kiss, tentative, electric, a promise amid the ruins. Dinner, I breathed. But no more games. As we slipped into the night, the city embracing us like an old friend, I felt the first thaw of forgiveness, the spark of something unbreakable reigniting. Dinner unfolded in a tucked-away Italian spot in Little Italy. Candlelight dancing across checkered cloths. The scent of garlic and possibility thick in the air. Jordan insisted on the corner booth, away from prying eyes, his knee brushing mine under the table, a deliberate anchor in the sea of what-ifs. We ordered blindly, pasta twirling like forgotten code, wine flowing red as the confessions that followed. He started slow, voice steady but eyes stormy. After you left, I dove into work, thinking it would numb the hole. Liam pushed, said we could recapture the magic, but it was smoke and mirrors. Every merger, every headline, it all tasted like ash without you there. Challenging me, making me feel alive. I sipped my Chianti, the burn steadying me. You think words fix 5 years? I rebuilt from nothing. Jordan. Sleepless nights, wondering if I was enough, if loving you was the flaw. His hand covered mine. Warm. Unyielding. You were always enough. I was the coward, scared of the boardroom whispers. The investors who'd balk at a CEO with a distraction like you. Liam was safe, predictable. You were fire. And I panicked, tears pricked, unbidden. But I held them, tracing the lines on his palm, stories of battles we'd yet to fight. And now, Hale's on the ropes. Is this desperation or destiny? Both, he admitted, leaning closer, breath mingling. But mostly you. Seeing your rise, it humbled me. I wanted Alex, not just business. All of it. The waiter interrupted with tiramisu, but the sweetness couldn't mask the tension coiling tighter. As we walked the cobblestones after, his arm around my waist felt like coming home, yet shadows lingered. Liam's parting shot, the merger's scrutiny, the world's unyielding gaze on men like us. Back in my loft, the door clicked shut, and hesitation evaporated. We crashed together, kisses hungry, hands rediscovering paths once trod. His shirt peeled away, revealing the top planes I'd memorized, my fingers digging into his shoulders as he lifted me against the wall. Murmurs of sorry and mine blending in the heat. But dawn brought clarity and complications. My phone buzzed relentlessly, Mia with merger fallout alerts. And worse, a tabloid leak, grainy gala photos of our alcove moment. Headlines screaming CEO's ex-intern sparks scandal. Liam's doing, no doubt, a final lash from the wounded. Jordan stirred, pulling me close. We'll weather it. Together. Yet as I stared at the ceiling, the weight pressed, empires built on sand, loves tested by storms. Could we rewrite our code? Or were we doomed to loop the same error? The scandal erupted like a virus, spreading through morning feeds and water cooler whispers, turning our fragile reunion into front-page fodder. Hail Dynamics tycoon caught in gay tryst, ex-lover's revenge, blared the post. Paparazzi swarming my building by noon, lenses leering like voyeurs at a private grief. I barricaded in the loft, Jordan pacing like a caged lion, phone glued to his ear as he barked at PR flacks. Spin it positive, focus on the merger synergy, not the drama, but his eyes, when they met mine, held fear, the same that had driven him away before. Why fight it? I challenged, voice raw from lack of sleep. Own it. We're not hiding anymore. He stopped, deflating. Easy for you. The prodigy. I'm the old guard. Alex. One whiff of distraction, and hail crumbles. The word stung, echoing the dismissal I'd nursed for years. So I'm still the risk? After last night? No, he crossed to me, hands framing my face. You're the reward. But Liam's not done. He's lawyered up, threatening to spill board secrets unless I cut ties. Rage boiled, hot and unfiltered. Liam, the ghost who'd haunted us, now weaponizing pain for control. Let him. I'll bury him in countersuits. Nexus has dirt too, his shady dealings with offshore accounts. Jordan's laugh was bitter. That's the fire I fell for. But think bigger. This could tank us both. The day devolved into war rooms. My team holed up in Soho. Screens flickering with legal briefs and damage control. Mia unearthed emails. Liam's blackmail trail. Timestamps damning. We've got him, she crowed. But victory felt hollow, tainted by the cost to what Jordan and I were rebuilding. Evening brought the hammer, a board call for Jordan, voices tinny and accusatory. Resign. Hail. Clean house. He emerged ashen, slumping beside me on the couch. They want my head. Unless I deliver the Nexus partnership, on their terms, which means, I prompted, dread pooling. You, as a silent acquisition. No equity. No voice. Just tech. Fury ignited. Sell out. That's not partnership. That's erasure. I know, he whispered, head and hands. But if I walk, Hale dies. Thousands jobless. Our employees, good people. Alex, the humanistic weight crushed. Dreams clashing with reality's grind. I pulled him close, our foreheads touching. Then we fight smarter. Leak the blackmail. Force their hand. Show the world we're unbreakable. He searched my eyes, hope flickering. Risky. But with you, worth it. As night deepened, we strategized by firelight, plans laced with kisses. Vulnerability forging steel. Liam's endgame loomed, but in each other's arms, we found the courage to defy, proving love's quiet revolution against the machine. The leak hit at midnight. A meticulously timed, anonymous drop to major outlets. Liam's emails. Redacted just enough to shield innocence. Exposing his extortion racket. By dawn, the narrative flipped. Headlines shifting from scandal to tech mogul's ex exposed. Blackmail plot unravels. Twitter, X now, erupted in support. Hashtags like Love Wins Tech trending. Allies from the community rallying with stories of their own battles. Jordan's board backpedaled frantically. Emergency meeting called at Hale's glass tower. I insisted on joining, striding in beside him, hand firm in his, a united front against the suit's skepticism. Gentlemen, I began, voice steady as the skyline view. This isn't a takeover. It's evolution. Nexus integrates with Hale. Equals. Sharing equity and vision. Refuse. And watch your stock plummet while we thrive solo. Murmurs rippled. But Jordan sealed it. His presence commanding. Alex isn't a distraction. He's the future. Back us. Or get left behind. By lunch. Terms were drafted. 50-50 merger. My seat at the table. Our story reframed as a romance for the ages. Liam slunk away, lawyered into silence, his empire of spite crumbling under scrutiny. But triumph's glowed dim that afternoon in the rooftop garden, where Jordan pulled me aside. Rain from yesterday's storm still puddling like tears. We did it, he said, but his smile wavered. Yet I can't shake the fear that I'll fail you again. I cupped his face, thumbs brushing stubble. You won't. Because this time, we're equals. No shadows. No exes pulling strings. Just us, building something real. He kissed me then, deep and unhurried. The city sprawling below like a canvas for our rewrite. In that embrace, the kinks of doubt smoothed, replaced by a profound certainty. Love, tested and tempered, emerges not as fairy tale, but as fierce, flawed humanity. Months blurred into a rhythm of merged lives, boardrooms by day, tangled sheets by night. Our partnership a beacon in the cutthroat world. Nexus Hale soared. Innovations flowing like the Hudson at flood. Employees thriving under inclusive policies we'd championed together. One crisp autumn eve, 5 years to the hour of that fateful rain, we stood on the same penthouse balcony where it ended. Jordan, ever the romantic, had recreated the night. Storm sounds piped in softly. Prototypes scattered like breadcrumbs to our past. Remember, he murmured, arm around my waist. Hard to forget, I teased, but my voice thickened. You kicked me out. Best thing that happened, pushed me to this. He turned me to face him, eyes shining. To us. I love you, Alex. Not the kid, not the prodigy, the man who saved me from myself. Tears welled. Mutual now, as I echoed. And I you. Here's to glitches that become the code. We kissed into the twilight, the skyline winking approval. Our story a testament, from discard to destiny. Love's quiet rebellion against the odds, proving that in vulnerability lies unbreakable strength.